you guys, and welcome back to Wallingtonfilming. Another hints and tips video for you guys. Now this is pretty common knowledge, but like a lot of us, we don't use it, do we? Now when it comes to house bashing, there's a routine for painting the houses out, and this one's basically about cutting your woodworking before you start filling the woodwork, and there's a reason for that, right? So here I've got a typical architrave on the door casing, and I've got to cut this in, right? Now the reason I cut this plotting before I do the powdered filling is basically because if I powder fill all this, when I hit this with the emulsion, I will tend to go over the filler. It makes it really difficult to rub down the filler when the emulsion has gone over the filler and the emulsion's gone hard. It's twice, if not more, harder to rub the filler down when it's got dry emulsion on. So what I'm going to do is give you a little bit of a close-up of me doing that. Welcome to the real world of house bashing and making it easier for yourself, and this is one of the ways to make it easier for yourself. You've literally got to get out of the routine of like powder filling before you do the cutting in of a plot. I mean, I go around and I do all the window reveals and I gun up all the woodwork, right? And like everybody else, I powder fill the door frames, powder fill the skirts, etc. But that, when it comes to the powder filling, that's the wrong way to do it, because it's really hard to rub it down with dried emulsion on. So I tend to cut the plots in, cut all the woodwork in with the emulsion, and then go around and powder fill. So when I come to rub down the filler, it's got no emulsion on, so it's like a damn sight easier and a lot quicker. So welcome to the real world of house bashing, and this is how we do it to get it done quicker, but with the same result, if not better. Because if you if you're trying to rub the filler down with a dried emulsion on top, a lot of people tend to like end up not rubbing it down properly, and I've seen this quite often in plots I've had to snag. So let me just give you a bit of a close up. Right, so here we've got a standard architrave there, and I've got to cut that little bit in down there. Now you see how that you will tend to hit, as I'll show you, look. So if that, see how the brush is going over that, and that's just with a standard cutting in, yeah? That's how I'm doing. Proper house basher, look, 3-inch brush, mate. Not 2-inch like some idiots use, but you see, I've gone over that. You always tend to hit that. Just cutting in. All I'm doing is a basic cutting in the architrave. Right, so that's that cut in. I'll roll that section there. You can see, obviously I'm going to fill that and down to the second hole that you see. Now if that had been filled and that's got emulsion on top, that would be a problem to rub down. It would take me twice as long. Right, and this is where it really comes in handy as well. On your skirts, nice MDF as you can see. And you see all that filling on the moulding. Now that's quite difficult to rub down when it's got emulsion on it. So your basic cutting in. And there's a nail, you see. Now although it's actually filled the hole with paint, It will dry so you can see where the nail is. Sometimes they don't fill with paint, sometimes they do. Here's a bit of skirting that I cut in earlier, and it's bone dry now where I've cut it in, and you see how you can still see where the nails are that have got to be filled. Right then, boys and girls, for you that weren't listening, I'll just repeat it, okay? Right, when it comes to house bashing, there's a routine for painting the plot. Normally you go round gun fill or backfill, whatever you want to call it, the whole plot, right? Then you go round and powder fill all the woodwork, followed by cut everything in, ceilings, walls, woodwork, the lot, cut the whole lot in and roll it undercoat and gloss, right? But when it comes down to doing a plot and making it a bit easier for yourself, what tends to happen if you do it like that is when you come to rub your frames down and everything, it's a lot harder because you've got emulsion that's gone over the surface of the filler, and when the emulsion dries it's like rock hard in it, as you probably know. So it's difficult to rub down. So the best procedure for doing a new plot when it comes to powder filling is cut all the woodwork in first. After you've done the back filling, cut all the woodwork in. Then when everything's cut in, before you start rolling, go around and powder fill all your frames and all your skirts and everything. That means there's no emulsion that's gone over the surface of the filler, which means it's easier to rub down the filler because there's no emulsion on it. Makes sense, doesn't it? So that's how we do it. We backfill everything, gunfill everything, cut it all in, right? Then, when the emulsion's dry, which is like as you're going around the plot, isn't it? Then powder fill all your frames. While that's going off, scrape your walls down and rub your plot, then roll your walls. So, there you go. Hope you enjoyed that little hints and tips video. Should be common knowledge to anybody. Hope you enjoyed that little hints and tips video from yours truly, the one and only. Until next time. Here's some of the kit you're going to need. You're going to need a 12-inch scuttle, right? You won't need a fucking brush. And a 9-inch roller.